Good afternoon, student. It's T Unit 6, the middle age. First of all, we know must what is middle age. We discuss about so far ancient age, ancient civilization. Now you discussed middle age. What is middle age? In history, middle age in Europe between the fall of Roman Empire in 476 to CE and beginning to the Renaissance in the 14th century. It also called the sometime Dark Age. The Middle Age are called between the fall of Imperial Rome and the beginning of the early modern Europe. And also the Middle Age approximately from 5th century to late 15th century. Learning objectivities. Here, to learn about the empires of China during the reign of Tang, Sung, and Yuan dynasties, to understand the evolution of Japanese society under the Fujiwara family and Kamakura shogunate, to trace the background of the birth of Islam, to acquire knowledge of the Arab and Ottoman empires and their contribution to the spread of Islamic culture, to analyze the characters of feudalism in the Middle Age, to understand the relationship between the state and the church in the Middle Age. Introduction. Um, Historians call the period between the end of the Roman Empire in 476 AD and the capture of Constantinople by the Turks in 1453 as the age we call the Middle Age. The Middle Age has been further classified, it divided early Middle Age, central or high Middle Age, and latter Middle Age. In this age, Christianity, followed by Islam, began to establish themselves as dominant religion of the continent Europe. Middle Age witnessed rapid development and marked by the territorial expansion, demographic and urban growth, new urban cities developed, and the restructuring of secular and ecclesiastical institutions. In those times, all the institutions on the basis of religious aspect only. Now, secular and ecclesiastical institutions emerged. The history of Arab civilization that began a little later than the history of Byzantium cover a period roughly from 630 AD to 1300 AD, known as Saracenic civilization. What is Saracenic civilization? Nothing but Saracenic civilization, primarily Arab Muslims, and also they were called Turks. They were the one of the nomadic Arabic tribes. Nomadic Arabic tribes. Um, the Byzantium or Saracenic civilization, it was a center of new religion, and its impact on Christian Europe was responsible for revolutionary and social and intellectual changes. Saracenic civilization, Seleucus Turks. Seleucus Turks were nomadic horsemen who converted to Islam. They were conquered much of Central Asia and the Middle East, that is now Iraq, Iran, like that. And it will late became Ottoman Empire. They established a powerful empire in Persia. The reign was one of the greatest progress in literature, art and architecture. Similarly, the Ottoman Turks who moved Asia Minor, that is Turkey, and established an independent empire and contributed to science and technology in a big way. Asia, I mean that is East Asia in the Middle Age. First, East Asia in the Middle Age. East Asia means in China, Japan. Now see China. In China, Tang Dynasty. In China, Shu Dynasty collapsed, that is destroyed in 40 years because of financial burden imposed by public work like Grand Canal and the expensive war waged to conquer northern part of Korea. That followed by the Tang Dynasty rose from the widespread rebellion that took place to establish a strong centralized empire. Li Yuan, who organized the rebellion, made young Yu the emperor of China. Li Yuan proclaimed himself emperor. Several hundred kilometers of the Great Wall were built along the northwest frontier. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China between 8th and 7th century BC. The warring the state in China built a defensive wall, that is to protect themselves, to build wall, that is we call the Great Wall. To protect themselves from the enemy from the north. During Qin dynasty, the separate wall were connected, and consequently the wall stretched from east to west for about nearly 5,000 kilometers. This wall considered to be one of the wonder of the world. So to keep nomadic tribes out, that tribe people keep away from the China. The wall was further extended and strengthened by the succeeding dynasties. Now it is 6,700 kilometers in length. Shang dynasty. Tang dynasty undertook enormous public work. Scholar officials trained in Confucius philosophy were appointed to counterbalance the land-owning aristocratic classes. Land was divided into small peasant holding. State monopoly of salt and tea add to its revenue. Shang dynasty. The Tang Empire split into few or five rival states until it was reunited under a new dynasty, Sung. Trade and industry flourished during the reign of Sung dynasty. Iron and steel industry became highly organized. Fall of Sung dynasty. The Sung period was also a period of great prosperity to the land-owning class, that is feudal lords, officials and rich merchants. The peasant, by contrast, had to suffer grinding poverty, utter poverty. They live in utter poverty. Internal crisis could develop that lead to the end of the Sung dynasty. The Mongols established their rule in the name of the Yuan dynasty. The Mongols, who overran Prussia and the whole of Central Asia, Mangu Khan became the great Khan in 1252, who appointed Kublai Khan the governor of China. Khan is one of the clan. The Mongol court in Beijing impressed a foreigner like Marco Polo. The poverty of peasantry continued. There were revolt of religious sect and secret societies. Finally, the leader of Red Turbans, the one of the organization, Chu Yang Chang, captured the Mongol capital, Beijing, and proclaimed himself emperor in 1369. Ming Empire. The Ming Empire, which who replaced the Mongol Empire, consciously discouraged industries and foreign trade in order to concentrate on agriculture. This resulted economically China lagging behind in the 6th century. Other part of Eurasia, building on the technique of Chinese, began to march ahead. But other part of some part Asia and some part of Europe, they were to use the Chinese technology and they were to develop. Student, so far we discussed about what is Middle Age. Asia in the Middle Age, Tang Dynasty, particularly in China, Tang Dynasty, Sung Dynasty, Yuan Dynasty, and Ming Empire, and the Great Wall of China. We will discuss in next class other subtitles, that is Japan and Islam and the rise of Islamic empires and Ottoman empires, India in the corresponding period we discussed in next class. Thank you student. Please follow the assignment given in the PDF.